Yes, yes, y'all. It is time for your daily dose of goodness, the nourishment you need to push forward, grow, get better in this crazy world that we're living in. You're listening to thedailybreadproject.com. We're about to go live on Facebook. I'm going to bring a very special guest on. Do I say that about everybody? Well, we got history. I think everybody that's been on the show so far, we've got history. But I was just looking back at the growth that I've seen with this guy, and I'm so stoked to bring him on and share him with you. Bring the light, bring the leadership, bring the love on thedailybreadproject.com. I know he's going to be here, so I'm going to bring this thing live to Facebook while I wait for him to jump on this call. We're going live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern. TheDailyBreadProject.com has the links for all the old videos, for the lives, for the podcast, for everything. That's where you go for your nourishment. TheDailyBreadProject.com. This thing's going live to Facebook. I see my man has arrived. I'm going to just let you in here while I fix up our Facebook Live. So participants, all right, promote to panelists. All right, that should be taken care of, and I'm going to get our stream live. And then we'll rock with this. Let's see, did it work? It looks like it worked. And I can't wait to see. There he is with the green background. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So we should be live to Facebook now. I'm going to bring this page up and I'm going to just do what I do. You are listening to thedailybreadproject.com, or maybe you're watching. I don't know. I don't care. All that matters is that you are here with us, because the world out there is negative. There's chaos. There's panic. In here, there's love, there's growth, there's leadership, there's everything that's good in the world. I can't do this by myself, though. I cannot do it by myself. That's why I have to enlist the help of the smartest, most talented people I know. And today I'm bringing you a special guest, and I've actually got I've got history with everybody that comes on the show, but I know that Marquell, you probably don't even remember this. This is Marquell Russell, and let me get the name correctly of the new show, The School of Client Attraction with Marquell Russell. More clients, more profit, more freedom, more impact. I love this guy. What is up, my man?
What's up, man? What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, I bet you don't know this. Do you know when we first started working together?
Yeah.
April 13, 2017. So nearly 3 years ago, almost 3 years in a week.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy.
And the reason why I'm bringing this up specifically is because you started a new show again, so we're coming on the air and you killed it. I think you're the fastest we're ever launching a show. And the thing about it is that I've noticed such an amazing growth in you. Like from when we first spoke to this time, I was like, this is like, it was like internet marketer when I met you, and now
Right.
CEO.
Right.
Like, I mean, the growth is incredible, bro. And I'm so glad that you're here with me. Welcome.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. It's been definitely a journey, man. It's an exciting journey. It's been a lot of fun for sure, man.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So we're going to jump into this. And what we talk about is power, positivity, leadership, love, and how you want to be remembered. And we're going to start right from power. Where do you get your power? Where do you draw power from?
So I think power comes from internally, right? I think we're all born with power. We just got to know how to access it. A lot of times we go around this whole world looking for something external, but literally, I believe that God created us with everything that we require to create whatever it is we want, and all that power is inside. We just got to know how to tap into it. It's like it's like The Alchemist, right? One book that I like is The Alchemist, and this guy is like traveling the whole time trying to find this thing, and it's always inside of him. It's like when I talk to people, I'm like, hey man, people say I'm searching for God and I'm doing this and I'm doing this, and there's no shade to anybody, but like if you look internally, you realize that God is in you. And once you realize that, once I realized that, that just made me more powerful. I'm like, wow, I've been looking for this thing forever, and this thing that I've been looking for has been inside me. So that's crazy. So
And that is
that's what I believe power is.
that's the story. I love that you brought that up too, because that is actually one of my favorite books is The Alchemist. And what you just said, you put it so succinctly. I hope everybody out there noticed how he simplified that. You're looking and looking and looking, just like the shepherd boy was looking, and
Mhm.
everything was always right here. And that's a beautiful thing. And so, how did you become aware of that?
Just from just being open to just learning, man, just kind of this ever growing self growth journey. So like one of my mentors asked me something about 7 years ago that completely shook me, which shook things up in my life. And he basically asked me, he said, Marquell, if you can have everything you want in life, thinking the way you think, wouldn't you have it already? And that just kind of put me on a journey like, okay, there's a lot of things I don't know, right? And that kind of put me on this that introduced me to Jim Rohn and just kind of got me on this whole self-development from a personal development standpoint and from a spiritual development standpoint. Because even when I was, going to church and things of that nature, a lot of it wasn't really connected and it felt like a lot of stuff was being left out. So I wanted to kind of get a better understanding from a spiritual standpoint and how this relates to me and how to make this applicable. So just kind of just being open to learning and challenging what I've heard and what I've thought, and just being open to new possibilities.
Now, what's fun is I've got this mental picture of you from the last time we talked, riding around with your troublemaking buddies, and you've got Jim Rohn CDs in the car and stuff like that. So how do you make that choice? Because it's so easy to go down either path, the bad path or the good path. What drew you to this path of growth and goodness and love?
So man, it was just about wanting more. I had the world I was living in prior to all this in the streets and all that. I had kind of got to a significant level, right? And I was blessed to be able to not be, doing like long fed time or dead or any of that type of stuff. And I got and I always wanted more. I was always like enterprising. So even back then I had a entertainment company when I was doing club promotions, artist management. So I was always like forward thinking, but it was just exposure. It was just what I was exposed to. So that's what I was into. And then once I got exposed to other things, it just kind of blew my whole world up. So I was just open. I wanted more. I knew in that world that I was in, it's only two endings to it. You know what I'm saying? And then when I got open to something else, I was like, wow, this is possible for me. And it doesn't matter if I got a college degree. It doesn't matter if I got a high school diploma. It doesn't matter what I look like, my skin color. Like I looked at it as the playing field was level.
That's it, baby. This is entrepreneurship. It's level. That's right. You get in
Yeah.
there and you battle it out and you win if you
Mm-hmm.
want it bad enough. If
If
you've
you
got a
want it
big
bad
enough
enough, and that's
why.
the key thing, you got to want it bad enough. If not, you're a foe.
Bro, I know because I grew up, I was a little thug.
Exactly,
So I
exactly.
know which.
And I think that give us a skill because if our backgrounds really give us an unfair advantage in this world as well. Because we're like, I done overcame all of this, like a Facebook ad account getting shut down, or somebody leaving a negative comment, or a team member had quitting, or whatever. It's like that's nothing compared from what somebody saying no, or that's nothing compared from what I came from.
Yeah, that seems makes it puts things into perspective. It
Absolutely.
gives you a different perspective. So let's talk about this, man, because I've always known you to be a positive person, and I know that didn't come naturally. So how have you cultivated this positivity in your life?
So I think it just boils down to one. So the number one thing is like obviously what you focus on expands, right? So for me, even when I kind of went through my whole transition, so I went through this whole transition when I transitioned because I was trying to do the street stuff, and I was still like when first got introduced to all this stuff, it was network marketing. So I was trying to do that, and I was still in the streets because I was trying to get this to work, but I didn't want to give up this. But I realized that I had to give up this to really go all in on the network marketing stuff. So what I did at that point, I just began to like inundate myself. And a lot of people ask me like, man, when your girlfriend at the time, when she was paying all the bills and you weren't making any money and you were trying to figure this stuff out, like how do you stay positive? How did you keep going? And I always tell people I like put like a force field around myself, for the lack of a better term, where any negativity, like I went years for like ever watching the news, listening to anything negative, engaging in any negative. Like my wife used to be big on like watching the news in the morning. I was like, look, please don't wake up, turn that on, because I don't want that to be the first thing come on. So you got to really be conscious about what you're allowing to go in, because even if you're not even intentionally listening to something, if you're around it, it still kind of goes into your subconscious mind, even if you're not listening to it. So I just kind of put a force field around myself. So even when I went through a lot of the transition I went through, when I wasn't making any money, couldn't pay any bills, nobody really knew, and I wasn't really focused on my situation. I was so focused on where I was going and just doing the necessary stuff every day, and just kind of keeping all the negativity blocked out to just kind of protect my consciousness. Because if you got all that stuff going on, and I'm like reprogramming myself, like everything that I used to think and everything that I had been exposed to, just intentionally programming myself, on a day-to-day basis. So I think that was huge for me.
Oh man, there's so much that I want to talk about there. So I got like 10 little bullets here already. All right. So let's talk about number one, respect. So your wife
Mhm.
was taking care of business while you were trying to figure out the bigger picture. And
Yep.
that I don't think we've ever talked about this, and I actually don't talk about this too much publicly, but I had a similar situation here
Mm.
where Cupcake had a corporate job and I was trying to figure out this online thing. And there's
Wow.
this idea that I want to share here with you, which I'm sure you experienced and maybe you haven't named it, and with our listeners, where Cupcake always thought that I was a man. And she always thought that I was taking care of business. I imagine your wife, same thing, was like, I know Marquell's going to do it. And there's something I call borrowed belief. And
Mm.
she believed in me so much that I had to rise up to that. And I
Yep.
feel like when you're with the right person, that's what happens. You're rising up to that borrowed belief.
Hey, I totally agree. Like I even ask my wife every now and then. I say, like when I was going, like when I was like, I wasn't like, you was pretty much taking care of me. She was like giving me, like, she was a bartender. She used to give me some money, little allowance that I called it. And I used to use that on like internet marketing courses and events and stuff like that. And I was like, why did you stick with me throughout? Because when she met me, I was like getting money, like I was a different person. And I'm like, you still stayed with me like through that. I'm like, why? And she never really gave me an answer. She just be like, I don't know. I just knew you figured it out. And like you said, that's that belief.
That bar, I got goosebumps thinking because that's what a good woman does, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. She was like, I just knew you figured it out. I was like, I don't know. She was like, I don't know. I knew you figured it out.
Now it's paying dividends.
Absolutely. Absolutely. She hasn't worked in probably like 3 or 4 years.
That's right, man. Cool, cool. All right. So I like what you said about building a force field around your mind. So
Mm-hmm.
protecting your consciousness was the words you used, and that's cool. So when you're building that force field, it creates a vacuum. So what were some of the things that you filled that vacuum with? Courses, books. Who were some of the people that you put in there to reprogram yourself?
So huge for me was Jim Ron. Jim Ron, that was the number one. So it was Jim Ron, Les Brown, Dr. Miles Monroe. I would probably say those are my top three. And then one of the books was I hadn't gotten to a lot of his stuff, but his books, The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, was huge.
T. Harv Eker.
But that was T. Harv Eker, yep. But I would say my top three go to was Jim Rohn, Les Brown, and Dr. Miles Monroe. And it's crazy. Somebody referred Les Brown to me to help him with some, online stuff.
No.
And me and him chatted about it a month ago. And I'm like, hey man, I just want to just let you know, man, regardless if we decide to work together or not, I just want to say just thank you. You don't know me personally, but you just have no idea. I done watched every video you have on YouTube when I was going through my transition, man, and you helped me out in a big, big way, even if we haven't even met in person. So I definitely appreciate it. I'm sure you hear this all the time, but I just gotta say it anyway. You know what I'm saying? So those are my top three. And then also I used to always also nerd out on, the Success magazine. I had a subscription to Success magazine,
Yeah.
and they come with these audios. So with the interviews and stuff like that. So I used to listen to those. So my fourth one I would say was John Maxwell. John
Nice.
Maxwell was a big one as well.
Oh, all good stuff. All right, cool. So let's move into leadership. And
Okay.
things are a little bit different. I mean, I don't know if they're different or not. People say they're different. I feel like it's almost business as usual, except you see weirdos with masks out there and people want to stand 6 feet away from you. But
Yeah,
yeah, the world might be a little bit different. We can admit that. Maybe
absolutely.
I don't want to admit it. I'm trying to act tough, but the
No.
world's a little bit different. How has your leadership changed with your clients, with your team at home? Just what does leadership look like to you now?
I think, and this goes back to John Maxwell, right? This is what I got when it comes to simplifying leadership. I agree with John Maxwell when he says leadership is influence, right? So it's like, how are you influencing? So like I told my clients this last week. I was like, hey, I know you guys are feeling a lot of uncertainty with things that are going on. You got questions about how things are changing. But I was told them, I'm like, hey, right now, a new era of leaders are going to emerge in every market. And how you show up in the content and the material that you're putting out is going to see how if you're putting out content from a standpoint of fear, then they're going to find somebody who's more certain to follow. But if you're showing up as somebody who's certain and confident in what you provide, people are going to follow you, because people, if they're uncertain, they're looking for people who are certain to latch on to. And if you don't show up as that person, you're going to freak out. And even with family, like if you're a father or even a mother and you're panicked and you're in a panic around all this stuff that's going on, like how are your kids going to act? Like my kids ain't around, and I'm not saying I'm this great, amazing, perfect parent or nothing, but that's not a huge conversation around the house. You know, we can sneeze or cough around the house and everybody not freak out. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's walking around the house with masks. And this ain't no shade nobody if you wearing a mask or whatever, but it's not a fear thing. It's kind of like business as usual. We go outside, was riding around yesterday, went and picked up some food or whatever. But it's like how you show up is going to affect everything. So I think by me not being overly scared or too cautious or whatever the case, or just talking about this all the time and not watching what's on the news like every hour on top of the hour, my kids aren't affected by it. Neither is my wife either. So I think that's huge.
Oh man, I love that. You know, I love that. It's almost like I'm tuned into that channel, baby. That's
Absolutely.
exactly right. Is you're being watched. You're being watched by people out there, which could be your audience. You're being watched by the people in here, which is your family. People are watching you everywhere, and how you act is going to determine your next act, like
Absolutely.
what's coming up next. And so I really love that. And I actually am planning an Instagram post about that today with a little picture of
Mm-hmm.
my son. And these kids are watching you, and it's not
Absolutely.
what you say, it's how you act.
100%,
So
man.
so
100%.
big, bro. So let's go into love, and what opportunities do you love right now?
I love. I think it's I think it's the best time in the history of the world to be alive. Even right now, in the midst of this pandemic, everything that's going on, it's still the best time in the world. Why? Because literally, the world the world is like becoming digital right before our eyes. And when things go digital, we become more efficient, right? So I was telling a buddy of mine, I'm like, man, have you realized? Because like my kids, they doing school from home. Like my 6-year-old, his teacher is doing a class like on Microsoft Teams right now. So he's down. So I had to set him up before I came up here. Um, and their schoolwork, I mean, we get it done in like 2 or 3 hours a day, if that. So I was telling a buddy of mine, I'm like, man, does it even like this? Where this whole 8 to 2 or 3 thing come from?
You know what it
Because the
is?
kids get this stuff
Factory
done.
workers. They want to
Factory
build
workers.
factory workers.
Yeah, because I'm like, we get our stuff done in a couple of hours, and then you chilling for the rest of the day. So it's like the efficiency. So I told people online, I'm like, hey, don't sit around and wait for things to go back to where they were, because they're never going back. Because here's why: all of these companies, they see that they're able to produce more with less employees, less, all this different type of stuff. So in big companies, they want to operate on less and keep the margins up. So I think the opportunity for us to be on the forefront and understand technology, understand podcasting, understand paid advertising, it's a massive opportunity. Even with our events, we had a 3-day event planned a couple months ago before all this stuff happened, and we transitioned it to doing it virtual, and we did it this past weekend, and it was amazing. We still had the same transformation. I would even go as far as to say the transformations was even higher. We still had the community feel. People still got all the outcomes. People still came out crushing it. And it's just a massive opportunity. So now we're going to do another one in 8 weeks because now we can do it virtual. Still had the same impact, less overhead, less people involved. And now the clients can take part in our overhead being going down. So I think that's massive.
Yeah, so they're saving money, they're saving time, and they're making a greater impact. Like it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I love it, man. Efficiency, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Efficiency. Good, 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 good. All right. So here is my favorite one. We're looking 5 years from now. We're looking back at this time. And how do you want to be remembered?
5 years from now, looking back at this time, I would say the way I want to be remembered is somebody who showed up and just impacted people. When it comes to when people say my name, I want it to be about impact. I want people to be still consuming the information and the content that we put out, and from a marketing standpoint, and for the legacy that we've been able to create. My kids show up and they like, and I'm not there, and they're like, "Oh wow, you Marquell's son, or you Marquell's daughter, or you're good." Just because what your dad did, the foundation he laid, how he's impacted my life, you're good. So just that impact. Somebody say my name is impact, 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 transformation, impact, impact, impact.
You
That's
want
the
that
biggest thing.
Les Brown moment. I just got to
That's
tell
it.
you how much you helped me.
That's it. That's what it's all about, man. It's not about the thing that really gives me goosebumps and get me excited. It's not even, I thought it was the money at first. I thought I was money driven, but it's like, if you look at my page and you always see me posting testimonies and testimonies and testimonies and testimonies, that's the stuff that really lights me up. You can always make money, right? But it's like because I know when they post about the money they've made or the leads they've generated or the clients they've got, I know that's just like the surface level. But how that impacts their life on a deeper level, from a family, from a confidence, from a lifestyle, it's transformational.
I love it, man. All right. So this is where I open it up. Anything you want to say to the listeners, anything you want to share, anything that's on your mind that you would like to say as a closing thought here?
I would just say, whenever there's chaos, well, I would say whenever there's obstacles, rather, right? There's massive opportunity, and I believe what we focus on expands. So if we're focused on the chaos will continue to expand. If we focus on the obstacles will continue to expand. And if we focus on the opportunities will continue to expand. But so it's like, what do you focus on every day? Are we focused on waking up, watching the news and seeing what the president is going to say, what the governor is going to say? Or are we creating our own reality? Because the reality is, and people are talking about the economy and things of that nature, and I say, okay, yeah, it's the economy, but the most important economy is our economy, and the economy that we create creates the economy as a whole. But we have a choice what we focus on every day and what we create. We're not just at the mercy of the powers that be or the pandemic. We literally can create what it is we want, but we have to choose. Or we can, because I subscribe to the idea of whatever everybody else is doing, do the opposite. Like I came out of CVS yesterday, and this lady walking in, she had like a mask on, and she had like some of the like cooking gloves on. You serving food. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, you walking around, it's kind of. I look at now, like you ever saw Bird Box?
Yeah.
So when everybody was like scared to go outside, it's like Bird Box now. It's like people are scared to go outside. They're scared to get within close to anybody. They're scared to speak to people, thinking you're gonna breathe on them. I mean, it's crazy, but but it's like in the midst of all that, right? There's gonna be a lot of bankruptcies happen, and there's gonna be a lot of billionaires created in the same climate. But it's up to us to really choose what we're going to focus on and how we're going to come out the back end of this thing. Because the people who focus and level up your skills, level up your mindset, level up your relationships, level up your health are going to come out on the back end of this thing stronger than ever.
I hope you guys heard that. He said that you create your reality. I mean, that's it. It could be good, it could be bad, whatever it is, it's up to you. This is Marquell Russell, the School of Client Attraction, coming up probably in like a week. This guy's like no dang joke. I love it, man. I'm so happy that you agreed to come on the show. I'm so happy that you shared all this goodness with us. And dude, I'm grateful to be working with you, watch your growth, and be a part of your personal legend. Thank you
Absolutely.
for bringing the light. You
Absolutely.
are listening to thedailybreadproject.com. We bring you the light daily, leadership in good and hard times. Thank you for tuning in, and we will be back in your earbuds next time. Thanks again, Marquell.
My pleasure, man. Thank you.